Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Tommy Wave Budget Deck series. As always, my name is Tommy Wave, and today we're going to be taking a look at a really interesting budget deck. Before we do that, as always, we'll go through our budget deck list criteria. Firstly, we don't set an arbitrary dust limit for these decks. Instead, what we're going to do is focus on, as you can see up there, the core of a deck. So we're going to look at a couple of high-performing decks in the current meta, and we're going to base our deck off of kind of the shell of what that deck's trying to do. Because of this, it means we have a reasonable upgrade path. It means you can invest some more dust into the deck and hopefully have one of those higher performing decks so you can smash it on ladder. The last point there is not super relevant at the moment, but it is relevant every time a new set does come out. But we want to make sure we pay attention to cards that are going to last for a while. We want our dust to go long and strong. We don't want to spend dust on cards that are going to rotate out quickly. So let's take a look. If you're watching on YouTube or anywhere else, you'll know that today we're doing Paladin. Paladin was one of the more fun and successful decks that we did last time during Kobolds and Catacombs. I actually have the list right here for you all. It was an Aggro Paladin. So obviously before Witchwood, we didn't have the odd or even things. So this was a really low to the ground list. We've got 10 1-drops in here. And a bunch of 2-drops in here, which we don't see too many of because a lot of aggressive paladins are in the odd variety. But focusing on Knife Juggler with a bunch of these cheap creatures or token creating effects, you know, you get 2 triggers here, 2 triggers here, to try and control the board and kind of steamroll your opponent from there with the Fungal Mancers and the Scalebanes. And plenty of weapons in here too as well. So we actually do have a bit of reach, a bit of very kind of like charge as well, very immediate impact on the board. And Kings in here was one of the really sweet cards, combined with some of the Divine Shields that let us kind of snowball the game. It's really fun to play too. But times have changed. We are in the Witchwood meta, not the Kobolds and Catacomb meta. And Odd Paladin jumped out kind of almost day one as being one of the best aggressive decks in the format, and it still has an amazing win rate. Was not impacted by the Call to Arms nerf. This deck is one of the more current iterations. Corridor Creeper is more of the newer tech, but the whole idea is the same. We're going to get on board early. This deck has a whole bunch of 1-drops, including the Blessing of Mites, which goes great with all your Divine Shield minions early. We're going to use the Hero Power, usually on 2, to create even more board presence and also save our resources. And then you have cards like Divine Favor to get back those resources once you've deployed everything. Stonehill Defender jumps out as a card that kind of lets you cheat the odd-even restriction, in this case odd, and lets us discover really powerful cards that we otherwise couldn't include. Sunkeeper Tarim being one of the most important ones, but also even in a grindy game, finding you cards like Uther? Uther? No, we are Uther. Tyrion. Finds you Tyrion. Sorry, all the paladins just blend into one. Can find you those cards to give you a bit more punch in the late game. Because we also can produce so many tokens, get to play cards like Level Up, and obviously if we would love to play Light Fuse Stegodon, but it does cost 4. So Level Up being one way to capitalize on all these tokens, and Stormwind Champion being the other best way to capitalize on those. Other than that, yeah, it's just a fantastic aggressive decks, lots of gas in the early game, way to restock on that gas, and ways to close out the game and get a big punch going when your opponent does stumble. Odd Paladin is great. The other list that I found from HS Replays was this interesting Silverhand Paladin list. Had a pretty good win rate with just over 750 games played. And this is more of the style that we were seeing before Witchwood, so still that big chunky early game, lots of 1-drops. Got a bunch of 2-drops in here because we're not playing Odd and we're not playing Keleseth, so this deck goes for Direwolf Alpha, Drygulch Jailers as a way to get more Silverhand recruits, and Knife Juggler. Lots of typical kind of stuff at 3 and 4, except we do get to include the Light Fuse Stegodon to take advantage of that. No level up in this deck. Instead, there's a Silver Sword in here, which is probably the most curious choice over something like a Vine Cleaver. But all this stuff lets you take advantage of the Crystal Lion, which is kind of like Corridor Creeper, except still a 5/5. So that's the Silverhand Paladin. Now, what I've done is I've kind of taken a lot of the learns that we got from the Kobolds and Catacombs deck, and also adjusted it, keeping in mind the most important part on our criteria, which was having a reasonable upgrade path. Because I think if you are going to play Paladin, particularly in aggressive style, you should aim to go for the Odd Paladin, because it is so good. So I've tinkered with things a little bit. So let's take a look at the core. This is the core that I've come up with. Still just the best of the 1-drops in here. Obviously you can play more, but I probably wouldn't play less. Direwolf Alpha is one of the best 2-drops to capitalize on having a bunch of 1-drops in your deck, particularly ones with things like Divine Shield or things that spit out multiple tokens. Direwolf Alpha really lets us capitalize on that. It's also a common, and one of the big things, I guess, with a lot of what's happening here is if you do end up crafting the Baku, you're not going to be playing any of these 2 or 4 drops. So I'm trying to keep these common or base, so that you're not wasting dust, and you can save that dust to spend on Baku. Divine Favor, probably the best rare in the deck, as it does let us restock after we've deployed all of our threats. Blessing of Kings, as we mentioned before, great snowball card, as well as Fungal Mancer, doing basically the same thing and letting us take advantage of our wide board. So, this is the Witchwood budget aggro paladin. I've got the Glacial Shard in here. This is still kind of I guess a lot of what's been happening recently is the transition from Glacial Shard to Acros Veteran, or even some people playing Abusive Sergeant in addition to Acros Veteran. I'm just going with the Glacial Shard here because it's more of what I know, and also a bit better against Rogue, which I feel will be a tough matchup for us. At the 2-drop, we've cut the Knife Juggler from the build. Instead, we're playing Marnie Berserker, Direwolf Alpha, and Hydrologist at the 2-drop. Probably want to fit an extra 2-drop in here, but it's hard to kind of find room to cut things. What I've replaced the Knife Juggler with is Stonehill Defender. I think this is a strong rare and one of the most important parts of Odd Paladin, so I think this is a much better craft than Knife Juggler if that's what we're going to aim to get to. Got them all, still have the 2 Spellbreakers in here as the flex, and the True Silver Champions, same late game essentially here. But yeah, let's jump into some games and see. Alright, against the Priest.
I will fight.
So we definitely don't want to get blown out by Duskbreaker, as per usual. The real question is, do we send back everything, or do we keep this Direwolf Alpha? Given that we have 10 1-drops in the deck, any of which are good, even Glacial Shard is kind of okay on the play with the Direwolf Alpha. But we only have 5 2-drops. I really would like to curve 1 into 2, so I'm gonna keep this Direwolf Alpha. Sweet. So that's a sweet curve. What did we get? +1 attack.
The light protects me.
That's one of the things I always, if you find yourself not thinking hard enough about mulligans, something should definitely make sure you spend a little bit of extra time on. You know, way up curve versus most impactful cards. always consider taking a look at sites like HS Replays. I think we're going to go to the Stonehill.
Out of my jungle!
Yeah, that's why we play Stonehill. To find the Tarim that we can never play. So let's see if our opponent rips off a Coin Duskbreaker here.
Let the pain
Acolyte.
speak to me.
Acolyte Powered Shield. This is really interesting. So we can Spellbreaker, but then we lose our entire board to a Duskbreaker, sans the Ardent Squire, because they can bump in here and Duskbreaker.
I wonder.
We could go face.
I wonder. I must move quickly.
Yeah. Don't have enough time to think this one through, unfortunately, but...
For justice.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one. My opponent made a pretty good play there. I guess this is... Maybe this is the best play if we assume they don't have Duskbreaker. Like, this puts the most immediate pressure on the board.
Meddlesome insects.
Yeah, Divine Favor is pretty good. So do we Direwolf Alpha Hero Power? Then, I guess we could Direwolf Alpha Hero Power and trade this. That's not the worst.
Reporting for
I
duty.
fight.
For justice.
We have 4 weapons, so
Job's done.
let's put the Fear of God in our opponent. Just going face with that that weapon there.
Is someone injured?
The Fungal Man.
Your magic shall not save you.
The battle. Reporting for duty.
Alright, I think I'm okay with that. Just getting some usage out of this Spellbreaker sooner rather than later. Holy fire! Oh my gosh. What world are we living in?
light dims, but we fight.
Job's done.
Unfortunately, this is a bit weak to another Duskbreaker. Like, we only get to keep this Righteous Protector. It's not weak to that.
It's time for a little blood.
Let's hope that we can get a 1 and a 2 drop. Or...
Reporting for duty.
let's scare him a bit.
Let me change your mind.
Okay. So 369. Can't get any additional value out of that. So I think we'll just go Hydrologist, see what secret we get, then probably go Glacial Shard Tara. Let's take a Repentance.
Nice to meet you. Ungoro belongs to the Titans.
This frame rate.
The battle! The battle!
It's tempting to take Eye for an Eye there. Real tempting. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Having the Divine Favor to recover from the Psychic Scream was very clutch. Oh no, you turned off the Enrage.
Quickly.
Oh, a shadow.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 11 plus 4 is 15. Great.
Mushroom power! For the makers! The
Please,
battle!
hope our opponent concedes so we don't actually have to try and get all these attacks off through a terrible frame rate. Got him. Nice. Alright. Welcome back. Up against the Shaman. Keep our 1-2 curve. What kind of Shamans are out there at the moment? Let's take a look at some Shaman
We have
stats.
turned our curse into our strength.
Even Shaman it is. So this is probably going to be one of our tougher matchups. I think we'll lead with the Righteous Protector in case they have the eel. They have the totem. I don't want to get blown out too hard by a lightning storm.
Repent.
But we need to start trying to contest this this totem. Not a lightning storm, sorry. The eel. Whoa. Sick draw. Sick draw. I think we have to go for them all. So let us punch down all these totems.
For justice! For justice!
Alright. That felt okay, but the fact that this is a deck that has supremely strong late game. We could be up against Sea Giants very quickly. The game goes on too long. Alakir, Lich King. Even this turn, if they had dropped a Corpse Taker, it would have been real bad for us.
It's time for a little blood.
Reporting for duty.
Kind of a bit of an anemic turn there, but I don't want to extend too much. Maybe we should have though. Like this deck's only going to pick up more pace. Hey Karma, how you doing? Playing some budget Aggro Paladin today.
For justice! The battle!
Oh, you want me killed?
Reporting for duty.
If they've been holding on to... I guess they can't have too much. And we do have this Repentance down as well. So we get like a easy trade on this, which might give us some room to... oh, it was Repentance, not the reduce health one. But whatever, this is huge. I've done it.
Me think.
Who you want me killed?
The battle! The battle!
I wish there was a way there for us to have deployed the Noble Sacrifice to stop them trading in, or... Yeah, I really wanted to have 2 threats up, because Hex is a card that 100% makes sense to have in their hand. And it would have been good to get in for an extra 5 face damage there. Then again, with this eel coming down, like that Armani did not long for this world.
Reporting for duty.
question is, are we getting Hagathed next turn, or what? And if we are getting Hagathed,
Reporting for
do we
duty.
just hedge
The
and
battle.
kill those? Trade those off first. No, I guess if they Agatha, it kills their own board as well, so... Yeah, we could have just got an extra 3 face damage in there. Alright, luckily we have a reasonable recovery here.
How long can this go on? How
What do we want this?
can this go on?
The light dims, but we fight.
25's a lot of damage to do. A lot of damage to do.
Let me think.
Repent.
Go away!
Free me! Job done.
It's a good one to get. So, I guess here it's really whatever our opponent got off of the Earthen Might, if they got Calamos, or if they it might be okay. We do have the Noble Sacrifice.
Get down!
Kind of a weird trade. 2, 4, 7 plus. This is 5, just 12, and this is 4. So 3 because we lose one of there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, let's do it then.
Mushroom power!
Free me!
Justice.
Whew, toasty one. That was a really sweet game. I think we probably misplayed a little bit. We could have been more aggressive early on with deploying a lot of those one-cost spells in the mid-game. And we did actually get pretty lucky hitting the Divine Favors in a reasonable order and getting good draws off of that. But I think we could have recognized our opponent's options a bit better and capitalized on that. Maybe tried to finish the game a bit earlier. So, all right, another priest here.
Life shall bring victory.
I will fight with honor.
Especially being on the play, I don't think we want 2 1-drops. We really want to develop our curve a bit better, hit some of those more high impact cards. Yeah, this is fine. Like, we have a 1-drop play, we have kind of a 2-drop play, and then we can play both of them. We'll open up with the Firefly.
Job done.
Coin 2-drop. Coin Radiant Elemental. You got the powered shield to go with it? Yeah, this is gonna be a rough one. Luckily we do have
But we fight.
something to slow them down, but if this is Inner Fire combo priest, we might be in for a bad time. That That's reassuring. Get our Stonehill out.
Out of my jungle!
Pretty anemic selection. Just go for the Righteous Protector. I can see a line where you go for the Steambot just because it's a huge taunt and it might, you know, goof our opponent a bit. But if this is in a fire,
Is someone injured?
or even Mind Blast, I think there's a lot of Master spells out there. It's fine. If it is in a Fire Priest, Eye for an Eye could be pretty good.
I wonder.
Noble Sack though. Noble Sack is probably better. Hey Nathan, how we doing? We're going alright. We're going alright. We're trying to figure out our way through this matchup. We're playing some budget Aggro Paladin. We switched some things up from last expansion, and so far we're 2-0. 2-0 with this build. Rank 6 and 7. There's the Pyro, so here's where we take the loss. We should have taken the Eye for an Eye. Wait, thinking about if they want to lose this Pyro. They do.
Out of my jungle!
Once again, not the greatest selections. So unlikely there's Duskbreakers in this deck. I haven't seen a list with Pyros and Duskbreakers.
Let the pain speak to me.
Hopefully we can just keep some of these boys around. Though, get a big Fungal Mancer off. Oh my gosh, the other Pyro. If we can survive through this Pyro, we might have a shot. My stream froze. You say things. I was just saying that we're on the budget Aggro Paladin. We're doing all right, but this is going to be a tough one.
Go away!
A real tough one. Yeah, we had the option before of taking an Eye for an Eye off of our Hydrologist. Oh my gosh. There's a Divine Favor.
Repent.
Ah, with the subscription. What are you doing, buddy? Thanks for that. Really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting me. Gosh, I really need to get on to making an emote. If you have any ideas, definitely hit me up with that, because I want to get on that hopefully this week. My main priority is finishing off this budget deck series, but immediately afterwards I'm going to get on that emote. There's so many silences down. How could they possibly have another?
I wonder. Let me think. Go away!
I must move quickly. Reporting for duty. For justice.
I should meet you.
Okay, so they're down both wild pyromancers. They're down both master spells, or a master spell and a silence. Can we get the full clear on here?
Let me think.
For justice.
Go away!
Okay.
I must move quickly.
I wonder. Mushroom power! Chill out.
The battle.
The light protects me.
Oh gosh, this is creating a bit of a. Oh my gosh, I did have another master spell. Getting my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus attack. Divine Shield. All right. Well, that gives us a
For justice.
semi-free trade here.
I fight.
You and you.
Mushroom power! Bring it on.
Give that minion a turn to
Alright, we may have weathered the storm. I've been super lazy and not made an emote. Yeah, it's hard, dude. Like, you know, you want to make sure you do it right, you know? But yeah, super happy to hear any ideas. I was thinking of just like like some people have told me do like face ones, but you know, then you have the whole inner dialogue where you're like, oh, my face doesn't look good. People like do some reacting ones, but I can't think of a reaction that I have. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13. We got there! We got there.
I fight.
Give our opponent the well played as well. It's a fantastic game.
Well For justice.
Fantastic game for our opponent. Get that wave going. Yeah. I think that's probably the right move. To do a wave emote. Anyway, that was a great couple of games. We went 3 for 3 with the budget Aggro Paladin. Overall, things felt really strong. The Divine Favors did quite a lot of work. Even the Amani at the 2-drop slot felt pretty good. And this was replacing a Acidic Swamp Ooze. I guess the main thing with the Glacial Shard, I'd be happy with anyone. Like, I would not fault anyone for playing Acris Veteran over Glacial Shard, or some kind of split. I think it's really close, and there were definite situations there where we would have really appreciated the being able to get some of our minions over the threshold of 2 attack to 3 attack, where things where there's a really big difference between 2 and 3 in the meta right now. Stonehill performed excellently, getting us that Tarim, which helped us push through the first game, as well as just giving us that little bit of extra gas. Even giving us that Tauren Warrior and that Righteous Protector in that last game meant that we were able to consistently kind of put our opponent off from getting their combo off. Kings were still really good, even with all those silences out there. I think this deck really, what I really love about it, and I think what's great, especially for newer players, is that we have so many tools to get on board immediately. Like our weapons have both an immediate effect in that unidentified model will usually produce a thing, and also we get to attack with them. So that's both of our weapons. We've got the Fungal Mancer as well. Come down, buff some dudes, let them trade a bit better. Same with Blessing of Kings. Same with Direwolf Alpha. So I think that's one of the things that's really good, really helpful for newer players, is that you don't exactly have to think ahead too much. You don't have to rely on, knowing exactly what your opponent's going to do and preempting it. Rather, you can play a bit more reactionary. But yeah, once again, if you're watching this on YouTube, my name is Tommy Wave. You've been watching the Budget Deck series. All the links will be in the description below. That's the link to the Hearthpwn article for the deck, where you can check out some extended thoughts on both the criteria, the series, and the deck. As well as it'll have the deck code and everything in there. Feel free to follow me on Twitter if you've got any questions. That's the best place to hit me up. It's where I'm most active. Or you can hit me on YouTube, Hearthpwn, even Instagram, on Tommy_Wave_. I swear it's not all selfies. Anyway, thanks for checking this out. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.